Picture this. A glittering mansion, chandeliers glowing like stars, and a billionaire holding the power to change lives with a single gesture. But what if the real magic didn't come from wealth, but from the quiet courage of someone nobody saw? Stay with us for a story that'll make you believe in the power of kindness, and maybe even change the way you see the world. Hey, welcome to Moral Echo Tales. I'm so glad you're here for a story that's going to tug at your heartstrings and leave you inspired. Today, we're diving into a tale about a moment that turned a room full of riches into something far more valuable: hope. It's about courage, compassion, and the kind of strength that hides in the most unexpected places. If you love stories that make you feel something real, hit that like button, grab a cozy spot, and let's jump in. The Sterling Manor stood like a palace under the evening sky, its towering glass windows reflecting the golden glow of a massive chandelier. Inside, the air buzzed with excitement. The scent of jasmine and expensive perfumes swirled around, and every guest was dressed like they'd stepped out of a dream. Silk gowns, tailored suits, and jewels that sparkled like tiny suns. At the center of it all was Julian Warwick, a billionaire whose name was whispered in awe across the city. Known for his sharp business deals and extravagant parties, Julian had a knack for making headlines. Tonight, though, he was about to make history. With a dramatic wave of his hand, Julian held up 5 golden envelopes, each sealed with a wax crest. Inside every envelope was a promise, a blank check, signed by Julian himself, with no limit. The crowd gasped, their eyes wide with disbelief. He called forward 5 guests, 4 women and 1 man, each a star in their own right. There was Elise in a flowing silver gown, radiant and ambitious. Marcus in a sleek black tuxedo, a tech mogul with a charming smile. Vanessa in emerald green, a fashion icon with a flair for drama. Clara in deep purple, a socialite known for her wit. And Sophia in soft ivory, a celebrated artist. Each one stepped forward, their faces glowing with excitement as Julian handed them the envelopes. "This," Julian said, his voice booming, "is a test. Show me what you do with limitless wealth. Show me who you really are." The room erupted in murmurs. People whispered about what they'd buy: yachts, private islands, maybe even a castle or 2. The 5 chosen ones clutched their envelopes, already dreaming of the power in their hands. But in the corner of the room, unnoticed by the glittering crowd, stood Lila Hayes, a young housekeeper who'd been working at the manor for 3 years. Lila was 26, with tired eyes and calloused hands from long hours of scrubbing floors and polishing silver. Her plain gray uniform blended into the background, and her dark hair was pulled into a tight bun. To the guests, she was just part of the scenery, someone who refilled wine glasses and cleared plates without a word. But Lila carried a story no one knew. She was raising her younger sister Mia, who was 12, and dreamed of becoming a doctor. Their parents had passed away in a car accident years ago, leaving Lila to work double shifts to keep Mia in school. Every night she'd come home to their tiny apartment, help Mia with homework, and fall asleep dreaming of a day when they wouldn't have to count every penny. Julian's world was different. He'd grown up in luxury, taught that money was power, and power was everything. His life was a whirlwind of private jets, art galleries, and deals that made or broke fortunes. But late at night, when the parties ended, Julian felt a hollowness he couldn't explain. He threw grand events like this one to fill that void, to feel alive. The blank checks were his latest game, a way to see who could impress him, who could match his vision of grandeur. As the 5 guests clutched their envelopes, their excitement filled the air. Elise spoke of a global fashion empire. Marcus dreamed of a tech utopia. Vanessa planned a chain of luxury resorts. Clara wanted to fund a film studio, and Sophia imagined a museum to showcase her art. The crowd cheered, caught up in the spectacle of wealth. But Julian, ever the showman, wasn't done. His eyes scanned the room looking for something or someone to surprise. That's when he spotted Lila, quietly stacking dessert plates in the corner. With a mischievous grin, he called out, "You, the housekeeper, come here." The room fell silent. Heads turned, and eyes narrowed. Elise smirked, Marcus raised an eyebrow, and the others exchanged amused glances, as if the idea of a housekeeper joining their game was a joke. Lila's heart raced. She set down her tray, her hands trembling, and walked to the center of the room. Every step felt like walking through fire, with 100 eyes judging her faded uniform and worn shoes. Julian held up a 6th golden envelope. "What would you do with a blank check?" he asked, his tone half teasing, half curious. The crowd tittered, expecting her to stammer or shrink away. Lila's throat tightened. She thought of Mia, studying by a dim lamp in their cramped apartment. She thought of the family she saw at the community shelter, struggling to afford food or medicine. She thought of the kids who played in the streets because they had no safe place to go. Taking a shaky breath, Lila looked up, not at Julian, but at the crowd. Her voice was soft but clear, like a bell cutting through the noise. "I wouldn't keep it," she said. "I'd use it to build a place for kids who have nothing. A center with books, computers, and teachers to help them dream big. I'd make sure every child has a warm meal, a bed to sleep in, and someone to tell them they're enough. I'd help families who've lost everything so they can start again. Because money doesn't mean much if it's just for one person. It's only real when it lifts others up." The room was so quiet you could hear the faint hum of the chandelier. The 5 guests froze, their golden envelopes suddenly feeling heavy. Elise's smile faded, Marcus looked down, and Vanessa's eyes darted away. Julian's playful grin vanished, replaced by something new, something like awe. Lila's words weren't loud or polished, but they carried a truth that made the glittering room feel small. The crowd stirred. Some scoffed, whispering that Lila was naive, that she didn't understand wealth. Others, though, were quiet, their eyes soft with something like respect. Julian stared at Lila, his mind racing. He'd spent his life chasing power, but here was a woman with nothing, offering to give everything. He thought back to his own childhood, raised in a mansion where love was scarce, where money replaced warmth. He'd never known what it meant to give without expecting something back. The party ended, but Lila's words stayed with Julian. The 5 guests went on their way, their blank checks funding lavish dreams. Elise bought a yacht, Marcus launched a tech startup, Vanessa built a villa, Clara produced a movie, and Sophia opened her museum. The headlines praised their ambition, but Julian couldn't stop thinking about Lila. He found her a few days later, cleaning the manor's library. Hesitant, she shared more about her dream. A community center in the heart of the city, with classrooms, a kitchen, a playground, and a garden where kids could grow flowers and hope. Julian listened, his heart stirring in a way he hadn't felt in years. He saw Mia's drawings pinned to Lila's fridge when he visited their tiny apartment, saw the love in Lila's eyes when she talked about her sister's dreams. And then, one crisp morning, Julian did something no one expected. He called a press conference, not to announce a new skyscraper or a luxury brand, but to unveil Mia's Haven, a community center named after Lila's sister. The building was bright and welcoming, with walls painted in cheerful colors chosen by local kids. Classrooms buzzed with laughter, a kitchen served warm meals, and a garden bloomed with sunflowers. On opening day, Lila stood at the entrance, tears streaming down her face as she watched Mia run across the playground, giggling with other kids. Families who'd known only struggle walked through the doors, their faces lighting up with hope. Julian stood beside Lila, not as a billionaire, but as a man who'd found something worth more than gold: purpose. The center became a beacon, a place where dreams took root and grew. Lila never asked for a check, but she gave Julian, and everyone who heard her story, a gift, a reminder that true wealth isn't in what you have, but in what you give. Wow, what a journey, right? If Lila's story touched your heart, please hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs a little hope, and drop a comment below. What would you do with a blank check? Would you keep it or give it away? Let's start a conversation. And if you want more stories like this, stories that remind us to stay kind, to stay human, please subscribe to Moral Echo Tales and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching Moral Echo Tales. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep spreading kindness, one story at a time. Subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay hopeful, stay kind,